How's it going, Range? This is Connor from Villagers, and I am going to show you some of my favourite albums from my vinyl collection. So this is Nina Simone, Let It All Out. This is one of my favourite albums by Nina Simone. It's got an absolutely beautiful album cover, which I think really suits it. And the choice of songs is incredible. Her performance is amazing, and it's perhaps a little bit more raw than the more famous albums of the mid-60s, like Put a Spell on You and Silk and Soul. But that's what I like about it. There's a real power in her voice, and there's a really incredible mixture of songs. Like she sings Dylan, and she sings an a cappella version of Images, which is originally a poem from the Harlem Renaissance, and she sings Mood Indigo, and which is one of my favorite songs ever. But there's just something magic about this, and I keep returning to it. I always put it on when I really feel the need to be inspired by sort of this raw creativity which she exudes beautifully. So yeah, highly recommended. Let It All Out by Nina Simone. Okay, so the next album I've got from my record collection for your eyes and ears is Radiohead's OK Computer. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this album? It's a total classic. Radiohead is the first band I ever saw live. First gig I was at when I was 14, playing this album, which was a pretty amazing experience, as you can imagine. And I spent that whole summer learning every single guitar part and every vocal part and the bass parts and the drum parts, and I was a total obsessive. And yeah, I kind of feel like with this album and with all Radiohead albums, there's always so much to take in, you know. So there's like the emotional depth of the lyrics and the performance, the vocal performance, but then there's also like layers and layers of aesthetic musical beauty, and there's kind of darkness and humor and all these things, but it all kind of comes from a sort of an existential searching, and it's quite spiritual music for me, but it's spiritual music which has been worked on over and over again, and really forged and you know, deeply carved pieces of art, which is really inspiring, because it's always helped me realize that, you know, when you're losing track of where you're going when you're working, just know that there's a solid foundation. There is a line in there that you'll eventually come back to. But yeah, this album's just beautiful. It's a total journey. It's a total trip, and I would really recommend it to anybody who has never heard it before, or who has heard it before. Just listen to it again. It always puts a smile on my face for some odd reason. Dig it. Okay, so the next album that I am digging from my shelves is Bjork's Homogenic. Check it out. Another deadly album cover. I find it hard to sort of know what to say about this record, because it's so flawless for me. I have a very vivid memory of about at the age of 14, 15, having it on my headphones on the bus home from school, and when when Pluto came on, which is Pluto's the kind of real full-on techno track, where she starts screaming at the end with loads of distortion on her voice, and there's just this incredible crescendo. I remember blasting out the bus door, just like feeling like so alive, and sort of wanting to make that music myself, and trying to sort of do that for the next sort of year, and just being really inspired by her deep inner visions that she's really trying to convey and express to her listeners, and the production, her voice, the lyrics. That's another thing about Bjork. She sort of manages to sort of be childlike and naive, and sort of somewhat simplistic in her approach to language. But there's a depth of creative development there, which which she has obviously treaded in order to get to that place, in order to make something so vital and so concise. But yeah, every Bjork album is a treat, but this one in particular means a hell of a lot to me. So I would recommend it heartily. Dig it. Okay, so the next album from my collection is Forever Changes by Love. This is a very old favorite of mine. I would have listened to it in school with my friends, and quite inspired by the absolute kind of weirdness of it. And I just love the way it manages to kind of marry this surrealism, this strange, colourful, psychedelic outlook, and sometimes dark and strange outlook to life, but there's always this kind of core warmth to it, and a really interesting approach to arrangement, which is quite unique. Actually, you don't hear anything else that sounds quite like it. And I also just love the fact you can kind of hear that it's songs that are being written by somebody who wouldn't really be able to write anything else. It just sounds like he was really turned on to a particular energy, and the band was willing to kind of try and bring out that energy as much as possible. I got to see him play live, Arthur Lee, before he died in Dublin, and that was pretty magic. It was a very chaotic show, but it was really good. As a long time Love fan, but yeah, Arthur Lee, Forever Changes. I don't know if any record collection should be without it. Highly recommended. Dig it. So next up is Floating Points and Pharoah Sanders and the London Symphony Orchestra. This is an incredible album. It kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, to me at least. I've always been a big fan of Pharoah Sanders and that kind of spiritual jazz oeuvre in general. And also I came across Floating Points for the first time in Primavera Festival in Barcelona, probably back in 2017. Actually, I lie. My friend Richie had sent me some of his stuff, and it kind of blew my mind. And then I got the chance to see him live in Primavera. But and when I saw that they had collaborated, I very quickly ran to the computer to find it on Bandcamp and order the vinyl. And I'd sort of see this as one of my lockdown treasures. I've listened to it so many times since I got it, and I sent it to my friend Dave, who does life drawing classes in Berlin, and he added it to his playlist for the music that he plays for the classes, and it really works for that kind of thing, because it's so meditative and slow, and it doesn't try and force anything, and it really does sound timeless, even though there are synthetic elements in it, which would probably place it in a certain time zone. But it's just a magic album, and I would recommend it to anybody who feels like floating away for a little while. from this madness that we're currently living in. Yeah, recommended. Dig it. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks to Range for having me. And check out the new Villagers album, Fever Dreams, in August when it drops. And yeah, see you all very soon. Check out my interview on readrange.com. And peace and love and understanding. And see you all very soon. Mwah.